Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Stavakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine Stavakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Yate Namaha Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityoramamritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been studying Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Today's topic I have chosen, Bhakti is easy and difficult. If it were easy without any difficulty, probably the whole world would have realized the Divine Supreme. It is easy in one way and really difficult in another way. Sri Ramakrishna has said that in the present age, the path of bhakti as preached by Narada is the best and the most suited. Sri Ramakrishna has said like this in the Gospel. You can't have any easier path other than bhakti. That is true. The competent aspirant for Jnana Yoga, who is following the path of knowledge, he must have 4 essential prerequisites. First of all, he must have Viveka, then discrimination, then Vairagya, then dispassion, and intense desire for liberation. These are prerequisites. Simply telling I am a Jnana Yogi does not make you Jnana Yogi. There was one person yesterday, one girl had come for, it so happened it was Guru Purnima, she had come. And she introduced herself as, I am Yogini. Immediately I made out probably she is practicing some Hatha Yoga. Then I, in a nice way, asked her what kind of yoga you are practicing. Then she said, this yogas given at yoga, so many postures of Padmasana and Shirshasana, Sarvangasana, Trikonasana, Paschimottasana, Bhujangasana. Very good. You have become expert. Of course, since she is really practicing these yogic exercises, I should say, her body was very good, looking very healthy and jovial, cheerful. Wonderful. It is joy to see her. So all this because she is regularly practicing these yogas. She learned them through some teacher and she is practicing them. That's very good. It keeps up physical health, mental health. But simply practicing those yogic exercises will not make you yogini instantly. To become yogini, you have to practice concentration, meditation, spiritual disciplines, controlling of senses, focusing the mind. All these things have to be done. Well, so I am just telling how all these yogas have got specific disciplines to be practiced by the aspirant. Then only you will start your journey in the yoga. Otherwise the journey itself is not started. It's simply surface, swimming in the surface. Just you are swimming on the surface of the water. Just learning to swim. So, if you take Jnana Yoga, 4 essential practices: Viveka, discrimination; Vairagya, dispassion; intense desire for liberation. Then 6 virtues along with this. What are the 6 virtues prescribed by the teachers of Jnana Yoga? The first is restraint of the mind and senses. It's the mind and senses that cause problem and sufferings for everyone. If the mind is good, you are excellent. If the senses are controlled, you are fine. You are always peaceful. Withdrawal from objects of enjoyment. Why they are stressing upon this? It has got special reason. Because the senses drag you incessantly towards those objects. They keep bothering you now and then. Let me go there, let me go there, let me go there. So, in that process, what is happening is, unknowingly, you are dissipating tremendous energy. Everybody has got energy in himself or herself. It depends upon how you use it. If you use it in a rash way, finish, you are the loser, finished. You can't achieve anything. If you use the energy properly, in a constructive way, it is wonderful. So, dissipation of energy, stop that, stop that. Then, concentration. The moment you sit, try to concentrate, you will know how your mind rebels against you. It jumps and it attacks you like anything. You simply get out of the seat. I can't concentrate. No, it's not for me. I will do karma yoga. As if karma yoga is very easy. Anyway, I'm coming to the point. Every yoga is easy in one way and difficult in another way. That's the fact. So, how it is easy, it depends upon your aptitude. If you like path of knowledge, you love it, then it becomes easy for you. Same way other yogas also. So concentration. Then forbearance. Tremendous patience you must have. And faith. Shraddha. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Through infinite faith, you achieve knowledge. Faith is the foundation of not only Jnana Yoga, of all the yogas. Without faith, how can you proceed? Faith in yourself, Atma Vishwas. Most important. Self-confidence. I can do, I will do, I must do. So that's the way how you should step up your path, your journey in the spiritual path. So, all these prerequisites you have to fulfill in order to march in the path of knowledge. I am not elaborating because this is not a Jnana Yoga class. It will take hours to do that. I am just pointing out to you how it is difficult to have these prerequisites fulfilled. Then only you become competent. Just I am telling you how difficult it is. That's the point. Now, if you take Raj Yoga, people think Raj Yoga is wonderful. The name itself suggests, Raja, king. I must become king. Why not? In the youthful stage, you feel that way. I can do anything. True, you can do. But see, what are the prerequisites in Raj Yoga? Every yoga has got its own specific instructions to be followed. Before entering into it, if you follow these requisites, then you have access to the yoga. Otherwise, the door is not opened. Simply you are standing there, waiting and waiting. Finished. Now, what are these that are prescribed by Raj Yoga? It says one must assiduously practice the 5 yama. Yama means discipline. What are the disciplines? Ahimsa, non-violence. You must not hurt, cause any injury to anyone. Mental attitude will be totally free from himsa. Non-violence, practice of non-violence. Practice of truthfulness. You should not say, I am in the world, I am going for a job, all my masters are corrupt. How can I be one, be without that? No use of talking in that tone. If you want to practice Raj Yoga, you must be truthful. If your job is not the proper place for practicing truthfulness, you have to give up the job. Then how to live the life? If you want to live the life of Raj Yoga, you have to think in a different way. What sort of yoga, what sort of life you have to live on. You should not say, I am living in the downtown, I can't practice concentration. Who asked you to live downtown? Go and live in a far off place. Go to suburb and live. Now, I am just telling you how difficult it is. Practice of truthfulness is most difficult in Kali Yuga. If you practice it, you will have the results. Without being asked, you get the results. So, practice of truthfulness. Because God Himself is the embodiment of truth. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. That's the thing. Then continence, which is also most difficult. Very difficult, I should say. Continence means maintaining celibacy. That is, not drifting the mind towards the enjoyment of any sort. To the extent the mind is driven in that direction, to that extent your mind power is lost. You can't tap the spiritual power unless you practice continence. It is difficult. Yes, I agree. I totally agree it is difficult. But that's the way. That's called Maya. That's why it's very difficult. That's why it is described as samsara sagaram ghoram. That's why this world is described as terrible. Why it is terrible? Because it causes peacelessness, it causes disease, it causes suffering, whatnot. Anyway, continence means the whole mind must be always thinking of the divine. Not 99% of the mind will think of divine, 1% they will give to the world. No. The ideal should be 100% must be given to God. Then only you will get God. That's how they put emphasis. Emphasis. But to the even if you practice 50% of continence, you are blessed. There are all householders are there, family people are there, there are all devoted people are there. Saints have come, Mahatmas have come. But even that 50% or 60% of practicing continence give you the result, what to speak of establishing oneself 100%. Then non-stealing, asteya. So, you should not have that stealing tendency in the mind. And non-covetousness. These are 5 yamas. And there are 5 niyamas. They are purity, contentment, austerity, scriptural study, and surrender to God. These are 5 niyamas. So, you can yourself ponder over these 5 disciplines of yama, 5 disciplines of niyama. That means total 10 disciplines you have to practice. Then only you have access to Raja Yoga. Is it not difficult? It is. Now, Karma Yoga. People simply say, oh, Karma Yoga, anybody can do. True, anybody can concentrate also. Karma Yoga also has got its own prescription. Sri Ramakrishna himself has said Karma Yoga is not so easy. Why? Because you are constantly under the grip of attachment. When you are glued with attachment, you can't expect karma yoga. One is doing all actions without attachment. One might feel that one is doing all actions without attachment and egoism, but somehow ego and attachment creep in. But these problems and preconditions, all these are not essential for bhakti. Why bhakti is considered very easy? In the first place, most illiterate person, born in a very low caste, that means without having any samskaras, even the most wicked person can become a devotee of God. That's why it looks easy. Apachetsu duracharo bhajate mam ananyabhak. Sri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, even the most wicked man, if he begins to worship me, if he begins to remember me, he will be saved from all dangers and sufferings. Lord Krishna said. In life and teachings of saints, we get innumerable such illustrations. For example, Valmiki, who was a daylight robber, hunter, was torturing the traveling people. Such a person, born of a low caste, became a great rishi, one of the greatest rishis, who wrote Valmiki Ramayana. It is famous, authentic, authoritative on Ramayana. Greatest rishi. So, in fact, in Bangalore I saw there is one community. They are called as Valmikas. That means Valmikis. They say their ancestors, they come from that Valmiki, like this Valmika group. Anyway, Ajamila, how he, though he was practicing devotion, devoted in the earlier stage, in the later stage, he fell in love with a low caste woman. That was the end of his spiritual disciplines. He began to be always with that lady. He lost all sense of control. He forgot doing his daily ablutions. For all practical purposes, he lost all the qualities of a Brahmin, though he was very orthodox Brahmin, because he was not doing Sandhya. But once you stop doing Sandhya, you cease to be a Brahmin. So, but later on, even he was saved from most dangerous situation, because what happened was, when he was about to, because he fell sick, he fell sick, probably he thought he may die. He had a son born to his legitimate wife. The name of the son was Narayan. That was the beauty of Hindu tradition. Somehow they have to repeat God's name. So the son's name is Narayan. So all the time, how many times you call the son? Narayana, Narayana, come. Like that. At least 20, 30 times in a day he would call. So when he was in the sick bed, when he thought he might die. He began to call Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. In unconscious state, he is calling Narayana. He is calling his son Narayana. But in his earlier stage, I told you, he was very devoted devotee. So that helped him, served him. He called Narayana, he is calling the God's name. And he was saved from that situation. Finally, he did not die. He was saved, and later on, it gave an awakening to him. Thenceforward, he again recouped his lost balance. He did tremendous austerity and then attained liberation. Like the story goes. And courtesan Pingala and many others, they have attained liberation through bhakti. Bhakti means love of God. That's called bhakti. The doors of bhakti are open for everyone, not necessarily for young, but for old also. Not necessarily for men, for women also. Not necessarily for rich and poor, but also wise and unwise. That means all the people have access to Bhakti Yoga. Anybody can. Only thing is, he has to develop love towards God. That's the big question. Very big question. So, from this aspect, from this point of view, is bhakti really so easy? To develop love of God, is it easy? They even lose faith in the presence of God. They think, having come to America, oh, this is the place where we should enjoy, we should earn money. What is God? It's all outdated mode of thinking. We are all modern people. So, they think those who think about God are not up to the mark. Like that the people begin to think. So, even the initial faith they had before coming to West, all gone away. They become more agnostic, atheistic than the people living in America. That's the great wonder. Well, that's the way it works. That's the way. Because the bhoga, in America, in a way the whole West, you should say, is considered as bhoga bhumi. It's a land for enjoyment. One lady devotee from America, she used to come to Calcutta. Whenever she would come, she would stay in our Ramakrishna Mission Institute of Culture, where I was there. Before coming here, I was there. And she used to come and meet me. And she would love to stay there. Whenever she would get opportunity, simply she would come to Calcutta. She would not go anywhere in India. Just she would stay there, go to Lemont or Ramakrishna Mission headquarters. Stay there, meditation. She loved meditation, reading of scriptures. I should say, really, she was practicing Jnana Yoga. Tremendous sincerity you can see. You can feel when you talk with her. You can feel that. And it is her own words. She is American. She said, Swamiji, what is there in America? Sex and money. That's all. Only two. I am disgusted. I don't want to go. These are her words. Her name also I remember. Susan, her name. Name also I remember. Her face also I remember. When I left America, when I left Calcutta for America, she came to meet me. Swamiji, you are going to America. Please take this. You may need something. She gave $25. I shed tears seeing her tremendous love and affection. That's pure love. That's why you will be overwhelmed by such acts. That pure love, it has got tremendous power of attraction. Before purity, nothing. Everything is trash. So, although Sri Ramakrishna has recommended bhakti for the present age, he has also warned us that it is not so easy as one might think. Holy Mother Shri Sharda Devi used to say that mukti or liberation is easier than attaining true bhakti or devotion to God. Swami Vivekananda, the greatest disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, who gave message of Upanishads in the West, the incarnation of Lord Shiva, while speaking on Sri Krishna, he said that love of the gopis for Sri Krishna is the highest manifestation of spirituality. Highest manifestation of spirituality. The gopis' love towards Krishna was not of lust. It is tremendously pure love. And yet, Swami Vivekananda did not preach it or recommend it for the common masses. Common masses cannot understand the sublime love gopis cherished towards Krishna. Instead, he advised that Sri Krishna's teachings in the Gita must be followed. Once Swami Premanand, one of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, he was addressing a public meeting at Malda in India. In his talk, he was putting emphasis on the service of man as God. Service of man as God, as propagated by Swami Vivekananda. Atmano mokshartham jagadhitaya cha. Work for the society, work for the humanity. When Swami Premananda was talking this way, there was one guy. He asked him to speak on love and devotion. Swami Premananda then forcefully said, who will listen to love and devotion? Who will listen? I don't find anybody here who is fit to listen to it. Premananda's words. Then Swami Premananda continued. He told a story. Once a street hawker was calling out, who wants to buy love? Who wants to buy love? Like it was shouting and walking in the street. People opened their front doors and inquired about the price. The hawker said, price? It is priceless. You can't fix the price for it. That's what he meant. But I can sell this invaluable love. I can sell it in spite of it. How? In exchange for a head. Exchange for a head. He said, are you ready to give up your heads? And people immediately thought probably this guy was a mad guy. So they shut their doors. Swami Premananda, pointing to the audience, said, is there anybody here ready to give up his head? Because they wanted him to speak on love and devotion. So he's asking them, are you prepared to give your head? Everyone kept silent. They did not know what to answer. They did not know what exactly it means. And Swami Premanji himself explains it. Do you know the meaning of giving up your head? That means giving up our ego. Ego, E-G-O. Ego, 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 ego. You have to become egoless. You have to crush your ego. Are you prepared to do that? Then you can practice yoga, bhakti yoga. Bhakti is easy because everyone is capable of loving. All love something or the other. Love is naturally present in everyone. But it's also difficult because it is not easy to love an invisible, intangible being called God. And the purest, most unselfish love which can make the Lord of the universe appear before a devotee is all the more difficult. The Sanskrit word for love is prem, which etymologically means priyasya bhavam. Priyasya bhavam. The feeling one has for an object or person whom one likes is called love. I like the object or person which delights me and gives me pleasure, and my feeling towards it is called love. A natural feeling one has for an object or person whom one likes is called love. I like the object or person which delights me and gives me pleasure, and my feeling towards it is called love. A natural scenery, a book, a fountain pen, a car, a watch, etc. give me pleasure, hence I love them. Now in this definition of love, the criterion for love is the pleasure, joy or delight obtained by the lover, the person who is loving. While this feeling of love for inanimate objects is understandable, it takes the form of selfishness when it occurs between two beings. Such a selfish love between men and women, where personal happiness and sense enjoyment is the aim, starts with mutual attraction in the beginning, matures into marriage, and ends with divorce or separation. Not for all. What he is telling is, generally we find that way. Referring to such a love, it is said in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the famous Upanishad. It says, it is not for the sake of the husband that the husband is loved. It is for one's own sake that the husband is loved. That the husband is loved. For one's own sake that the husband is loved. It may appear unfair to do. It may appear unfair to dub all human relations with as selfish, but there is sufficient truth in it. There was a famous saint, his name is Vidyaranya. In the celebrated treatise Panchadashi, famous scripture, he gives the example of a father who loves his child dearly. He takes his child in his lap, hugs it, and repeatedly kisses it. But does the child like it? It weeps because the beard of the father pricks its delicate facial skin. It cries, man, like that it cries. But the father delights and would not leave the child. At times, people intentionally tease a child so that when it starts weeping, they would take it in the lap and delight it by fondling it. You can see all these things when you see the parents, how they fondle their children. In fact, in one of the family, when I visited, it so happened the child was crying or something, and I asked the mother, see, the child is crying, how do you feel? Oh, Swamiji, we love it. You love it? Because some people may not love. There there are people also like that. But generally feeling, they love whatever the kids do, the parents love. They won't find any fault in the kids' play. Such an attitude of delighting in inflicting pain on the object of one's love is nothing but a mental aberration. Not all loves, however, are of this inferior selfish category. In the majority of worldly relationships, there is mutual give and take. The lover and the beloved both delight in loving. They derive pleasure mutually. For example, a mother derives joy on seeing the child and also tries to make him happy. She feels pain if the child is unhappy. But even in the love of a mother for the child, there is some amount of selfishness. What is that? The mother expects that the child would look after her when he grows up. Because probably this is an Indian tradition. In American tradition, there is nothing like this. See, Ramakrishna used to explain the selfish character of worldly love to his devotees and disciples through various interesting stories. We also know the story of sage Valmiki, who has transformed from a dacoit into a sage when he learnt that none of his family members, mother, father or wife, was willing to share his sins. He was committing a lot of sins, by plundering the travelers. He was committing sins. Nobody was taking his sins, but they were ready to take his money. Whatever he done, it's your duty. What are you talking? You have to feed us. For that they got a share. But for the sins, they have no share. We don't want your sins. That awakened him. So he became a saint later on. But there are also exceptions to this rule, that all love is selfish. There is an exception for that. A story is told of a man to whom a son was born at a ripe age. Naturally, the old man was fond of the son. He was extremely attached to his only son. The father would remain day and night engaged in serving and caring for the child. All his activities and daily life were centered on the son. He did everything possible to make his son happy. Unfortunately, at the age of 15, the son fell seriously ill. The father did everything possible to treat him, but the son could not be saved. Just before the son's passing away, the father asked his son whether he had ever been unhappy or uncomfortable during those 15 years of life. The son confessed that he was never unhappy. After the passing away of the son, everyone thought that the father would break down completely since he was so much attached to him. But no, the father was not at all sorry at the death of the son. Such examples of absolutely unselfish love are rare. Of course, there are people who unselfishly fulfill their duty to their parents and relatives, but duty without love sooner or later becomes a burden. Swami Vivekananda says, duty is seldom sweet. It is only when love greases its wheels that it runs smoothly. These are the words of Swami Vivekananda in the complete books. True love is higher than duty. In its purest form, love means a burning desire to serve the beloved, to make him or her happy, a passion for the absolute good of the beloved. Such a love is rare. The second problem with bhakti is that it is very difficult to love an invisible and intangible God. There might be a few fortunate souls endowed with noble past impressions and an innate natural love for God, but all the rest of the people have to face this problem. Normally, children born in devoted families might show some faith and simple attraction for God and His images, but as they grow and intellectually mature, such faith gets reduced to mere formal devotion. Nonetheless, faith in the existence of God, who can be loved and who reciprocates our love is very helpful in bhakti. Indeed, there cannot be any bhakti without faith. So faith is a foundation for bhakti. Bhakti or devotion to God starts with selfish devotion and formal worship of an image or symbol of God. According to the Gita, worship devoid of chanting of mantras, not according to the prescribed method, and done only for self-aggrandizement, is tamasika worship. It is often seen that the cheapest clothes, fruits, and other articles are used in worship. It is obvious that in such a worship there is a total lack of faith in the deity being worshipped and an absence of conviction that the image is alive with the presence of the divine. A higher form of worship is that in which the devotee offers the best possible articles to the deity. He decorates the image with finest clothes and costliest ornaments. But here also the devotee's wish prevails. For God, gold and ornaments have no value. They are precious for the devotee. The devotee thus offers what he thinks valuable and thus derives satisfaction. In a still higher form of worship, the deity is worshipped strictly according to the scriptural injunctions and not according to the devotee's whims and fancies. Thus, the ritual of worship of Kali and that of Shiva are different from each other. Sri Ramakrishna, the worshipped Lord, becomes a slave of the devotees. He moves and acts according to the will of the devotee. The devotional scriptures also replete with marvelous stories of such exalted saints. Although the rule is that the adored Lord must not be offered an eatable which has been tasted by someone else, Sri Ramchandra gladly ate the fruits offered by Shabri after she had tasted them. Although the Lord becomes a slave of love of such a devotee, a true devotee would never wish to go against the Lord's wish, nor do anything which might cause trouble to the Lord. Now here is a wonderful story Sri Ramakrishna used to tell. 3 friends were passing through a forest. They heard the roar of a lion. All the 3 were frightened. The first one said, all must die because the beast would kill them. The second person said, there is no cause for anxiety. Let us all pray to God. He would protect us. The third one said, no. There is no need to trouble God for such a small thing. Let us all climb the tree and save ourselves. The first person had no faith in God. The third person who said, let us climb the tree, was a true devotee. This is a story told by Sri Ramakrishna. But how does one ascend to such highest level of bhakti? It will be evident that unselfishness, love and faith are fundamental needs for such a bhakti, and of these the most difficult to attain is unselfishness. Without being pure and selfless, love and faith do not arise. Hence the first step is to fulfill one's swadharma and duty enjoined by one's station in life. That's the way to attain purity. It is equally important to purify one's worldly relations and become as unselfish as possible in the worldly sense. Renunciation and service are the stepping stones to bhakti. Let us always take the position of a giver rather than that of a receiver. Seeking pleasure and happiness for oneself has become our nature. Let us seek others' pleasure. Let us always seek to serve others. Unfortunately, we are so shallow and mean-minded that we are always trying to grab petty advantages. We must remember that love is obtained by giving and not by seeking. Hence, an aspirant for bhakti must totally relinquish worldly desires and ambitions. Even if we have some desires, let us direct them towards the Lord. There is no harm in such sakama bhakti as a stepping stone to nishkama bhakti. Sri Krishna has mentioned 4 types of devotees in the Gita. Those seeking the fulfillment of their desires from God are also accepted as devotees. But to ask worldly things from God is like asking for pumpkin and brinjal from an emperor. May we, like Swami Vivekananda, ask God for knowledge, devotion, discrimination and renunciation, practicing the preparatory disciplines of bhakti as prescribed by Ramanuj and other great teachers of bhakti, considerably helps in acquiring bhakti. Just as by handling flowers and rubbing a log of sandalwood, one's hands get scented, similarly, by doing formal ritualistic worship, prayer, chanting hymns, etc., love and attraction for God arises in one's heart. Hence it is advised that one must perform ritualistic worship and chant the name of God for a fixed number of times. Following certain rules and regulations too helps in the renunciation of one's desires and rising to the level of desirelessness. This Vaidhi Bhakti, or the preparatory devotion, gradually leads to true devotion, Prema Bhakti. There are various types of Prema Bhakti as described in the scriptures. One may have any bhava or relation with God. One may, for example, cultivate the attitude of a servant, the spirit of service, cultivated towards other people, and in our worldly relationship can be very easily turned towards God. I am a servant and the Lord is my master. This attitude is a very pure and beneficial one. Although one can also cultivate the attitude of a child and consider God as a father or mother, there is a certain advantage in the attitude of a servant. There is no possibility of ego cropping up in this attitude, and one continues to remain humble. On maturity, intimacy with God and a sense of belonging also arise from this very attitude. So let us begin from where we are. Let us go on purifying ourselves gradually and diligently and sublimating our love from worldly love to divine love. There is no cause for despair, but we must know the difficulties. The Lord of love is ever ready to lend his helping hand. If we move one step towards him, he should to move 10 steps towards us. A day will come when we shall realize that it was not we who were trying to reach God, it was God who was trying to approach us. Let us remember that God loves us more than we can love him. So, bhakti is easy and also difficult. Well, Sri Ramakrishna was in his room at the temple garden. He had been observing silence since 8 o'clock in the morning. Did he know the fatal nature of his feeling? Did he know the fatal nature of his illness? At his silence, the Holy Mother wept. Rakhal and Latu also wept. The Brahmani widow from Bag Bazar arrived. She too was weeping at this strange mood of the master. Now and then the devotees asked him whether he would remain silent for good. The master answered them in the negative by a sign. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Narayan arrived. Sri Ramakrishna said to him, "The Divine Mother will bless you." Narayan told the other devotees that the master had spoken to him. A heavy weight was lifted from their breasts. They all came into the master's room and sat on the floor. Master said to the devotees, "The mother showed me that all this is verily Maya. She alone is real, and all else is the splendor of her Maya." Another thing was revealed to me. I found out how far the different devotees have progressed. Devotees said, "Please tell us about it." Master said, "I came to know about all these devotees, Nitya Gopal, Rakhal, Narayan, Purna, Mahima Chakravarti, and the others." Let us stop here. Probably today I have taken more time. Well, chant the name of the Lord and his glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quenched that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name streamed down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name that bought for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree, take no honor to thyself, give honor to all, chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the ties of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath thy feet. How I long for the day when an instant separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrated at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere, may all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous reign tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteous sphere rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good. May the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe is satisfied.